Ms. Matthews, you admit to having an extremely complicated relationship with the defendant, Mr. Moore. Now you say you're here today to prove that he is your 3-year-old daughter Zania's biological father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Moore, you argue Ms. Matthews was having an affair with another man and say she waited to notify you about her pregnancy because she was uncertain if her unborn child was yours.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now you say you've had a hard time letting little Zania into your heart because of your continued doubt and uncertainty. Furthermore, you're asking the court to award you $285 in damages for a broken car window, which you say Ms. Matthews destroyed in a jealous rage.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Moore, now, how has the doubt about little Zania's paternity affected your connection to her?
Extremely. There's no contact. I made sure that it wasn't going to be any contact till I found out for certain that was my daughter.
All right.
Fanique, in the beginning, we were cool. When I met her, she was a party girl, all the way up to date.
Okay, so then you started a sexual relationship.
Yep.
Were you ever in a committed relationship?
Absolutely. She told me that she was pregnant, but she waited 4 months to do it. Keep in mind, we stayed using condoms all the time, 24/7.
No.
We stayed using condoms, unless I was just out of it one night.
So let me understand this, Ms. Matthews. Yeah. So you were in a relationship with Mr. Moore.
Yeah.
Now he says you didn't tell him you were pregnant until 4 months.
That's true, Your Honor, because
And you're in a relationship during the time?
Yeah. No, we was on and off, but I didn't tell him I was pregnant because it was something I went to the doctor in Alabama and they didn't tell me, they didn't know if my baby was gonna be alive or dead. So I didn't know what I was gonna do. I didn't tell some of my family members either because I didn't know what I was going to do.
So you were having issues and complications
with
in
my
the pregnancy.
Yes.
We can stop playing victim, though.
So I didn't show you the papers?
I got these papers.
Papers of what?
Her uploading pictures with the guy who was presumably, he could be the dad.
Okay, Jerome, let me see that evidence Mr. Moore is presenting. So let me understand this. You say this is Ms. Matthews kissing another man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
During the time that you thought you were together.
Yep.
No, but...
And how did you find this photo?
That actually came from her social network that she used to have, her Instagram.
Why did I post the picture? Because what picture did you post that made me do that on Throwback Thursday, Your Honor?
Jerome, let me see that.
Man.
What picture did you post? And the reason I did bust the window out is because I was calling his phone about this picture.
This is
calling
a
his
window,
phone,
so it's okay to bust a window out.
And they're answering the phone, hanging up, playing, oh, B-word, you're mad, woo-doo-woo. So yes, I was pregnant and I went to his house.
Your Honor, exhibit number 2.
It was a brick by the tire and I broke your back window.
Okay.
Okay.
So she's got angry. It's okay for her to break my window.
Let's get this part of the story together.
And you think
hold on, Mr. Moore. Let me understand this. You're in a relationship, what you guys call a relationship. However, one Throwback Thursday, you post a picture of you kissing somebody else.
Yep.
This was your picture choice. While a woman was pregnant with your child, she was having the baby, you thought it was yours.
Absolutely. But we weren't together at the time.
But you weren't together technically.
But I had my doubts, keep in mind.
You had your doubts, so you posted this picture. Now I'm trying to understand, the picture you presented to me was a picture she posted.
Yeah.
Which then fueled your doubts that you might not be the child's father because she also had a picture kissing somebody else.
Absolutely.
Your Honor, when I put the picture on Instagram, he came to my job, bust a window. He had to get escorted by Cleveland police. He almost got me fired. I was suspended for 3 weeks with no pay with your child, and you didn't help and do nothing.
Your Honor, she left out the part about her being with her ex, though.
Okay, let me get that part after I figure out this window. Because you're saying once his picture went up, you got mad because you start calling about the picture and nobody would pick up the phone.
They picked up the phone.
Oh, and then they were...
Oh, B, you're mad, woo-woo-woo. It was all of that. So I politely put on my tennis shoes and jogging pants, and I went to his home, and there was a brick by the tire. I said, oh, this is a coincidence. What a coincidence. And I bust the window out.
Okay, so you admit in open court.
And went home and ate some
So
food.
you're admitting today in open court that you busted the window out of
Stop lying.
his
What's
car.
wrong with you, man?
I don't have to lie about what I do.
Mr. Moore, let me see this evidence you have.
You was real chilly that
This
night.
is a picture of what?
The night she busted out my windows from me uploading a picture with another girl on my
Yes.
social network.
It was
but
either
it's
bust the
okay.
window or bust the
It's
face.
okay for her to bust my windows out though. And guess what
So,
she did?
Ms. Matthews, is this the window you
Yes,
busted
I did.
out?
I busted it out. I should have got the side too.
You know what? Fanice got an excuse for everything.
I will admit my wrongs, but you're wrong. Rumors.
So you don't party?
What about the rumors? Of course I go party, but what about the rumors you paying for sex with women?
Okay.
Rumors about you just sleeping with all type of people. You woke up in the alley one night because you were so drunk, didn't even know where you were at.
Okay, what about all of the guys? Okay, that's fine. That's a lot of them.
So listen, you have serious doubts as it relates to the paternity of Zanaya.
Absolutely. I love Zanaya. Believe
You
it,
didn't do
Fanique,
anything.
nothing's good enough. Nothing's good
What
enough.
is $20 a week?
$20 a
Or
week.
a month?
Okay, well, why don't you ask those guys
And your
that put up
doubts,
in your
hold
driveway
on,
for that
hold
money?
on. Your doubts are rooted in the fact that you believe she was sleeping with other people.
Yeah.
If you want more episodes of Paternity Court, make sure to subscribe and click on the notification bell. Please stand.
Hi, Your Honor.
Hello, step up to the podium. Your name is?
Miss Thomas.
Miss Thomas. Why do you have doubts that your uncle is the father of Miss Matthews' child?
Because Miss Matthews, she gets around. The whole hood knows her. It's nothing new. When he told me he started dating her and she was pregnant, I just started laughing because, like, you don't know how many other dudes she done told this to before. Like, this is a rumor around the hood. She gets around.
But what
What
about
do you,
your
what do you
back
mean?
page?
What do you mean? She
My
told
back page,
other.
let's
gets
not play
around,
crazy.
honey. Come
Let's
on
not
now.
play crazy.
Come
The
on.
whole 117th
You
know
gets
you.
around,
Let's
baby.
not play
What about
crazy.
the back page?
So hold on,
Like,
Miss
what
Thomas.
Go take care of your daughter. That's what you need to
Ladies.
do. Go take care of your daughter. That's what you need to do.
Ladies, I'm trying to understand when you said.
I'm saying she's just known around the neighborhood for lying and saying
Your
she's
Honor, I've
pregnant.
never been pregnant before,
previous
except
time
for my
before.
daughter.
saying that she was pregnant previous times.
Yeah, by different dudes.
Do you have any proof, not just
Yes.
known around
Yes.
the neighborhood?
Yes. The day after prom.
No,
I
we
was
said
at-
proof, not verbal.
The day after I seen her with some dude that looks exactly like my uncle. And I seen her previous times in the neighborhood with this dude that looks exactly like my uncle. So I called my uncle up and
Really?
I'm like, Mrs. Matthews is here with some dude that looks just like you that I told you last time I seen her with. He gets to calling her and she gets to dodging and everything and ignoring his phone call.
I remember getting
And he
the call.
tries to call
Where
her and
was
he's
we
like,
at?
well, she's not answering her phone.
Your Honor.
Look
when I
at my
got the
daughter.
call-
Y'all see my daughter?
She called
Ain't she lovely?
She called 3 different other
That's
guys
'cause of
in
me.
the hood,
That's
daddy.
because of me.
What did you just say?
She calls 3 other dudes in the neighborhood that we live in daddy.
Zanaya.
Not my uncle. Yes. It's
Three-
been-
wait.
No, Your Honor.
Zanaya calls 3
No.
other men
3 other
daddy?
man's daddy.
That just sounds ridiculous.
Wait,
'Cause
Miss
you're ridiculous.
Matthews.
What do you
Hold
mean?
on, Miss Matthews.
Don't argue.
Is that true? Does
No, Your
Zanaya
Honor,
call
no.
anyone else daddy?
The only person she called daddy is her 2 papas. That me granddaddy, Your Honor.
No.
No, my daughter did not call anybody else daddy.
Does she call Mr.
She don't
Moore
even call
daddy?
him daddy, no.
Yeah,
he
you know
don't
what?
be
like I told you in
around.
the beginning, Your Honor, my niece told me about guys going in and out of the driveway, standing in the driveway. It's times that I done woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning because she had to go drive over to Fanique's house to pick Zanaya up off the front porch.
No.
And she's got guys coming in and out.
My best friend lives directly
Please look at
across
my
the street
daughter.
from Mrs. Matthews. And then
Do y'all see
there'll
some
be
type of neglect?
guys coming in and out the house.
No.
We'll be sitting on the porch and there'll be guys coming in and outside the house and Zanaya will just be sitting on the porch with her nose snotty and hungry.
Really?
And then every
What?
time she comes over, she has the same clothes on. Like my uncle is
Really?
giving her money
Oh my
and
God.
like, what are you
Can
doing?
you
with it?
please
You're
just
not
look at my
spending it on
daughter,
your
Your
daughter.
Honor? Do it look like she has a snotty nose and dirty clothes?
I mean, of course not right now, but
Of course, never.
she's always has a snotty nose.
She's
Let's not play
a
crazy.
beautiful little
Let's not be-
girl.
My daughter would
Beautiful.
never have a snotty nose.
Thank you, Miss Thomas, for your testimony.
welcome.
You may be seated. She's a beautiful little girl indeed, and she definitely deserves better than this mess that I'm hearing in this courtroom today. That's for certain. Ms. Matthews, who signed the birth certificate?
My name is on the birth certificate. It's right here, Your Honor, if you'd like to see it.
Please. Jerome, will you hand me the birth certificate? So you've handed me a copy of Zanaya's
Yes.
birth certificate, and listed under mother's name is, of course, your name.
Yes.
And father's name is
Question
blank.
mark, nothing. Yes, blank.
So, Mr. Moore, you didn't sign the birth certificate
I
because
wasn't
you weren't
signing the
sure.
birth certificate.
Because you weren't sure.
Yeah.
He didn't even get the chance to see the birth certificate. He didn't even come up to the hospital, Your Honor.
I did come to the hospital. She's lying, Your Honor. I came up to the hospital. I didn't stay long, you know, because I had already started hearing those rumors.
If he did, I didn't see him.
Okay.
Ms. Matthews, what is it that you feel? Is it you're disappointed that the situation came to this, or you feel like
Yeah.
Zanaya's in a place she doesn't deserve? What are you feeling?
Both.
And I know. She do got love for her daughter. I'm not trying to say she's a bad parent. I'm here for one thing and one thing only. I need to find out if I'm her father. You know?
Ms. Matthews,
Because
is there
if not,
any reason Mr. Moore would have to doubt? I mean, truthfully, is
No.
there any reason?
No, I go to work 7 days a week. I don't have no breaks. I got to pay for a babysitter every time I go to work. I don't never have no me time. And for them to be saying all that stuff, my daughter be dirty, all that, that's impossible. Because I walk
daughter
around
do be
with knees
dirty.
and rags on my
Your
body
Honor.
before my daughter
She's
look a mess.
lying.
Your Honor, I'm 23 years old. I don't have any other children. I don't have any prior records. I don't have anything. I got my whole life ahead of me. So if I can bring that beautiful little girl with me on this journey, that's what I'm gonna do. But if not, I'm gonna keep it moving, no matter what the outcome
Well,
is.
you
today.
need to
You know
be
what
a
I'm saying?
man and come up and say your mistakes. Like, you know, all you do is party and drink.
That's
You know
all
that's
you
all
do.
you do.
Okay.
And if I party and drink all day, then how do I get up and go to work every day?
Where do you work? Please let me know.
Where do y'all work? Because last time I checked, you was doing community service.
No, I never did community service. Let's not play crazy.
Stop arguing with her.
But you could continue to
She's a
just stop
joke.
because
Just
I'm
stop
gonna need for
arguing
you
with
after this show to go find your daddy.
No,
Okay.
I know who my daddy
You all, you know, if it weren't
That's a
for
joke.
Zanaya, I probably would be about done with this. Because it's a little bit too much silliness and back and forth and talk, just too much. It really is not appropriate when you think about the fact that this baby, she's 3.
Right.
She's not 3 weeks. She's 3 years old. Meaning, this is the time when she can ask questions like, where's my daddy? And so as you all go back and forth with all this silliness and back talk, and then I just keep turning around looking at this beautiful little girl saying, it's got to be better than this. You all have got to talk better to one another. You all have to be more respectful. And you're definitely not gonna come in this courtroom just clowning for absolutely no reason. What we're trying to understand is why Mr. Moore has a reason to doubt. So, Mr. Moore, now, do you have any specific idea about who the other potential fathers could be?
Yeah, the guy that was on that picture.
I know you was gonna say that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Ms. Matthews,
I mean,
you presented to the court some photos.
Right.
And this is a picture of Zanaya and then a picture of Mr. Moore as a child. Do you see a resemblance?
Their lashes, one, look at them, super duper long. And they both skinny as a stick.
Mr. Moore, do you see a resemblance at all?
Absolutely. I mean, every day I look at Zanaya.
And you see yourself?
Yeah, sometimes, you know. But then it's those days that come by that's a little slower, and I'm like, nah, that's what everybody think till you get the results. I don't know, it could go either way. And I
Listen,
always gave you the benefit of the doubt.
Everybody think, that's your problem. You listen to what everybody think. One day you have to grow up and be a grown man and make your own decisions.
Explain it. Okay. I can take that. You're right, but explain your disappearing ways. She would disappear, stop answering text messages, stop responding to my calls. You know, it was just a lot.
So listen, you all are making the little details into a huge deal when the major issue is the paternity of this beautiful little girl. And the fact that you were in a sexual relationship at the time and you could potentially be her biological father. And that is what's at issue here today. Do you understand?
Yes, Your
It's
Honor.
just this beautiful little girl, and I'm ready to get to those DNA results. But before I do, I want to deal with this arbitration. Because you say that you'd like the court to award you $285 for the broken window. Do you have any receipts?
You know what, Your Honor, I do have receipts.
May I please see those,
of the
Jerome?
invoice. Here we are.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
So this is a receipt from a car repair shop for $285.
Yep.
All right. Well, in open court, Ms. Matthews, you
Right,
admit
yes, I did.
that you broke the window intentionally. Therefore, you are responsible. You cannot, even out of anger, even as upset and as pregnant and as hormonal as you might have been, you cannot destroy someone else's property, all right? So for that reason, My ruling is for the defendant for $285. Are we clear? Now moving on to the DNA results. Jerome, thank you.
You're welcome.
These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics and they read as follows. In the case of Matthews v. Moore pertaining to 3-year-old Zanaya, Mr. Moore, in the case of Matthews v. Moore pertaining to 3-year-old Zanaya, Mr. Moore, you are not her father.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking. I'm done. It's over with.
I told you. I mean, I'm not shocked.
I got my whole life ahead of me. I'm done. You know what I'm saying? I wish you the best.
My baby gonna be fine. I'll take care of my baby by myself.
I wish you the best.
So, Ms. Matthews, I asked you several times if there could be another potential father, and you said no. Whether you're willing to admit it in open court today, something in me is telling me that you know who this person is, and maybe when you get in the quiet of your own space, you'll be able to say, now, self, we done took this all the way to Lauren Lake's paternity court and got up in here, and Mr. Moore is not the biological father. Your daughter deserves more. Ms. London, just 3 weeks ago, you met Ms. Drake, who claims she is your biological sister. You admit her mother and your father were married, but believe Ms. Drake is claiming you are related just to get money from you and your other siblings. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Drake, you claim that you've always known that Neil London is your biological father and the plaintiff is your sister. You say Ms. London is the only person in her family who is denying paternity. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Ms. London, you don't believe the defendant is your sister. Explain.
I'm here today to find out if Nakai is in fact my biological sister. My father never, ever told me that she was. Had he told me, I would not be here. I met Nakai physically about 3 weeks ago at my sister's party. I don't mean to be mean. She came into my life. I would have never looked for her. So when I met her, that gave me ammunition to say, hey, let's move forward. Let's do this.
So,
Let's
Ms.
go
Drake,
ahead.
why now? Why do you enter their lives now, decades later?
Okay, well, I'm sick, Your Honor, and if my life was to turn for the wrong, because right now I'm fighting for my life with everything that's in me, and at this time in my life, I need my sisters and my brothers to get me through whatever God's journey He has for me, and that's why this is so important to me.
And how did you reach back out to the London family? How did you find them?
Well, a year ago, through another family member, I was told that Dolores was looking for me. I was so excited. We connected, and it was so warm and things like that. But when I met Kim, it was a cold shoulder. I didn't feel no warmness.
Your Honor, it wasn't a cold shoulder. I just felt like because of her situation, that made it even more important for us to know.
Well, this is what I want to understand. And if you could stand, please, Ms. London, and step over to the podium. You were sitting on the defendant's side of the aisle, and when she was testifying, I could see the tears in your eyes. As you looked at the woman you do believe is your biological sister.
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
And why do you believe that? Tell the court what you know.
Well, I just remember like one day my brothers were having a conversation and they was talking about Nakai. And I guess she was around about 9, maybe 8 then. And it wasn't a long conversation. They just brought it up and I was like, wow, I have a younger sister? I just couldn't believe it.
And so they brought it up to you?
Yes.
During what?
Between the two of them, yes.
They did? Mm-hmm. And they said, you said, I can't believe I have this sister.
No, I couldn't.
And from there, did you all form a bond or you just never met?
Well, no, we never met until like a year ago, Your Honor. I love her. I never turn her away for anything. And I love both of my sisters equally. I really do.
Well, one of your family members, Mr. Rashid London, submitted this statement to the court. This is Kimberly and Dolores's brother. I know my father married Tawana. He told me that they had a child together. I remember him telling me that I have a younger sister named Nakai. He was very serious about having a relationship with her and that he wanted us to have a relationship with her. Why does that affect you so much to hear, Ms. Drake? Can you tell the court?
Yes, I can, Your Honor, because Neil was such an amazing father, and I feel like that maybe he knew that this day was going to come. I don't question my parents on the decisions that they made in their lives, but to hear that, oh my God, however Neil felt, I mean, he knew I was his, and I said that right there, and that's him.
When you heard the statement, Ms. London, from your brother, how did it make you feel?
I just don't know where to go other than where I stand. And if I'm wrong, then I'm maybe that's what it is. But I want to know if you're my sister. I'm like in the middle. And it's like I feel like I'm the only one that wants to know if she's my biological sister.
You feel like everybody else has bought in and accepted and believes it, but you still have that reservation.
I still have that.
And you feel like you're standing on that reservation
strong
by yourself.
Reservation. We're very different. Maybe we're different. And I want to address something that you said. You said that when you met me, you felt coldness. Well, probably whole in part is the fact that you came at me very strong. You were telling me about my father, and then you were saying the things that you guys shared. But then a couple of days later, you asked me, you start sending me text messages for money and stuff like that. And I felt a little uncomfortable because she was calling me at work, and I said, well, I can't answer my phone. I said, at that moment, I said, I really have to know now if she is in fact my sister, because now it's getting to the point to where if you're asking me for money, then that, to me, that's a whole nother thing.
So you submitted that message to the court, and you have, the message says, I need you to please send me $20. I have the Cash App. I've already requested you. Did you send this Cash App message, Ms. Drake?
Yes, I did, Your Honor. Because at the time when I called, I didn't have anybody to turn to. And actually, I was recently getting out of the hospital for one of my illnesses. And I needed money to wash my clothes because I had messed up my bed. And I didn't have anybody that I could ask. So I said, well, oh my, let me call my sister. And that's what it was all about, of me asking her for money.
And so, Ms. London, it's $20. Why did that affect you so much? Because it's not a lot of money.
It's not a lot.
But it was, what was it about that request?
It was a principle. I wanted to make sure she was my sister, okay? Yeah, $20 isn't a lot, but it's the principle, because I feel like if you're asking me for $20, that's not all she asked me for, because she was saying how much she needed a bed and pillows and things like that. And and in my mind, I'm like, okay, we got to get together. We got to get all these things for her.
So you felt like if I open this drawbridge just a little bit, the water's gonna come rushing in, and I'm gonna be and feel responsible for a woman, and I don't really know if she's my biological sister.
Right. I'm trying to grasp it, but I just don't.
All right. Well, Ms. Drake,
yes, Your Honor,
actually have your mother on the line. She was not able to join us in court today.
Yes, Your Honor.
But I have something I want to ask her. On the phone with the court is Tawana Barrett, mother of Nakai Drake. Ms. Barrett, can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you good. Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much for being here. I want to ask you, Ms. Barrett, do you believe Neil is Nakai's biological father?
No, I don't. I don't believe that.
I don't know.
Why don't you believe that?
Because I was married to Eugene Howard. She knows better, too.
You say she knows better.
She should.
What does that mean? Why should she?
I wasn't laying in bed with y'all.
Because Eugene Howard is her daddy.
And
She never called Neil daddy. She called him by his name, Neil.
she never called him daddy.
No.
What did she call the other man, Mr. Howard?
She called him daddy.
So, Miss Drake, hearing your mother say this is not what you testified to in this courtroom.
Yes, ma'am. But what I will say is this: maybe it could have been a time when Neil cheated on my mom, basically the same thing he did with your mom, and maybe she was heated and upset. But my mom and Neil both told me that he was my father, and everybody called me Mr. London's daughter. Remind you, Your Honor, I'm 7 years old, okay?
Do you remember the other man?
I remember them both. I was 7 years old.
Do you remember calling the other man daddy?
I called him Fox. That was his nickname. I never called him Dad. I called him Fox.
And who was he to you?
Mama said that was my daddy too, so there it is.
You can't have two daddies.
Well, I did, and both of them took care of me. But what I will say, Your Honor, with Eugene, with Neil London, I lived in a house with Neil London. My mom and Neil bedroom was across the way from me, and Neil was that father figure. I can't give you not one memory with Eugene and my mom living together, as you could say, maybe the mother and father figure. I only received that with Neil and my mom.
Understood. So you do understand when you say Neil was your father figure, that is completely different than biological father.
Well, neither one of them are on the birth certificate, okay?
But her dad, Eugene Howard, was at the hospital when I delivered him.
Wow. See, I didn't even know
I didn't know that either. I didn't even know nobody was with you, Mama.
You didn't know that either?
I didn't either. I didn't know. No, I didn't even know that he was at the hospital. Well, like I said, he didn't sign a birth certificate, so therefore, it's been a big question mark. I never knew that, Mama.
No, because he didn't do that because I didn't put his name on there.
And so
I put you in my name.
Okay.
Well, Nakai, you've held back a lot of information.
I'm just getting it too.
I put her in my maiden name. My maiden name is Drake.
So, Dolores, I need to ask you this, because your sister stated that she felt a little bit put off when a couple of days after reconnecting with Nakai and her assertion that she was your biological sister, she then asked for money and help. Have you also been asked to provide help or money as well?
No, ma'am.
And so your relationship is just about a sisterly bond?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Your Honor.
And after hearing this statement from her mother, it doesn't change your mind about whether you share a father or not?
No.
You still believe she is your biological sister?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
All right. I don't need to ask you, Miss London, because I can see from the look on your face that your doubts were only magnified from that telephone interview.
Yes, very much so.
Like I say, Your Honor, I done came all this far. I'm letting you know what I knew. First of all, to be honest with you, before this all came about, I've never been questioned about this. I can only go by with what people are telling me as well.
When you want to know? I mean, if somebody came to you, a stranger,
exactly, I would want to know.
Stranger to me, so if
but I'm a stranger to you.
You're a stranger to me, but you're a stranger to
someone
else.
Well, let's also put things in context, because before we beat her over the head with that she didn't say this and she didn't say that, what has been consistent about the testimony is this all occurred when she was
a child,
0 to 7.
Right.
Let's also state that for a person, we do this every day. It's some people feel embarrassed to say that they have all of this going on, and they just want to lean on what they feel is the sturdiest piece of information.
Right.
And so I think that's where we were in this case. But the best part is we're able to get to the truth through the DNA.
Exactly.
And we have that for you right now. Jerome, may I have the envelope, please? These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. Because there wasn't a blood card available to test the DNA of the deceased, Neil London, we performed a DNA test with his surviving children, Kimberly London and Dolores London. With that being said, the results determine if there is a viable relationship between Nakai Drake and Kimberly and Dolores London. In the case of London versus Drake, when it comes to 38-year-old Nakai Drake, it has been determined by this court. The percentage of relatedness between Nakai Drake and Kimberly and Dolores London is 0.00%. You are not related.
We can accept that. We can accept that.
It's okay.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
All right.
It's okay.
It's all right. We know the truth and we can move on, okay?
We know the truth and we will. We'll be just fine.
We'll be good.
Ms. Drake, I know that was not what you were hoping to hear nor expecting to hear.
Yes, Your Honor.